Case summary, case citation, Peekay Intermark Ltd v. Australia and New Zealand Banking Group Limited, 2006 UK HL 52 Court. House of Lords UK. Judges: Lord Bingham of Cornhill, Lord Hoffman, Lord Scott of Foscoe, Lord Walker of Jestingthorpe, Lord Mance. Background facts. Claimant: Peekay Intermark Limited. Defendant: Australia and New Zealand Banking Group Limited. Peekay Intermark Limited entered into a series of foreign exchange transactions with Australia and New Zealand Banking Group Limited. The transactions involved selling one currency and buying another, with ANZ acting as the counterparty. During the course of these transactions, ANZ applied a higher exchange rate to certain transactions than initially agreed upon, resulting in financial losses for Peekay Intermark Limited. Peekay Intermark Limited sued ANZ for breach of contract and/or negligence. Argument. Claimant's argument. Peekay Intermark Limited argued that ANZ breached its contractual obligations by applying exchange rates that were different from those agreed upon, resulting in financial losses. They also claimed negligence on the part of ANZ in conducting the transactions. Defendant's argument. ANZ argued that the terms of the transactions allowed them to use their own prevailing rates at the time of execution, which included a margin above the market rate. They contended that there was no breach of contract or negligence in their actions. Final outcome and legal justification. The House of Lords ruled in favour of Peekay Intermark Limited, finding that ANZ had breached its contractual obligations by applying exchange rates higher than those agreed upon. The court held that ANZ had not properly disclosed its practice of using its own rates with a margin which was not in accordance with the agreed terms of the transactions. Legal justification. Breach of contract. The court emphasized the importance of adhering to the terms agreed upon in a contract. ANZ's use of a higher exchange rate without proper disclosure constituted a breach of their contractual obligations. Negligence. Although negligence was also argued, the primary finding was based on breach of contract. Negligence would have required a finding of a duty of care and a breach of that duty, which was not the central issue in this case. Implied terms. The decision highlighted implied terms of fairness and transparency in contractual dealings, especially in financial transactions where trust and reliance are crucial. Key concept implication. The case underscores the significance of transparency and fidelity to agreed terms in contractual relationships, particularly in financial transactions. It reinforces the principle that parties must adhere strictly to contractual obligations and clearly disclose any deviations from agreed terms. Key learnings. Clear and unambiguous contract terms are essential to avoid disputes. Parties must disclose any deviations from standard practices or agreed terms in contractual transactions. Courts uphold the principle of fairness and transparency in contractual dealings to protect the legitimate expectations of parties.